they would go out and catch, say like they catch 100,000 pounds of fish. Now that might sound like a fabrication to you, but it's not. I've seen them catch 100,000 pounds, and it'd be, you know, that was one of the normal things at certain times of the year. And out of that 100,000 pounds, I would say probably 95,000 pounds of it would be solid mullet. That was our biggest, most available fish, and the most sellable. We ship them to anywhere, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, all over the South. Mullet was the thing.
With the seine fishing, they usually do that on the beach, and they go off and they see a bunch of fish flipping, or you see a blacker fish. A good bunch of mullet they're black in the water. You just see a black, look like if you ever go along the beach on a real clear day where it's some rocks or an old sunken boat or something, it'd be a different color. Well, a school of mullet would be the same way. And they just go into the beach close as they can get with a boat, and they let a man jump overboard with the end of the net, and they go out around the fish back to the beach on the other end. And then they haul the net up to the beach. They have a big, deeper part of the net, or either a pocket in it, right in the back, where when they get it hauled in, the fish will go out in that pocket. And some of those nets will a pocket will hold 50,000 pound of fish or more.
Long lining is kind of like a trot line, except it's a lot bigger scale. We run about 5 miles of stainless cable out, and put about 1,500 hooks on there that snap on, and as you're putting it overboard, and snap them off as you're bringing it in. Somebody has to rebait all the hooks as they're coming back in. Take the fish off, of course, and gut them and pack them in ice. Kind of like factory work out there, you just keep doing it over and over. Some of the boats are set up with an outside steering station where the boat can be run with 2 people, but most generally they're run with 3. Some of the really big boats, getting over probably 60 foot long, they'll run a 4-man crew. Probably the closest point we can start fishing from the coastline is probably about 32, 33 miles, but the boats go out a lot further generally. They'll go out anywhere from 50 miles to 150 miles, and that puts in the depth of water would be anywhere from 20 fathoms, a fathom being 6 foot, all the way out to probably 150 fathoms. The trip will usually go generally anywhere from 10 to 16 days from dock to dock. Most boats will put their gear out on the average 4 times a day. Some of them that hustle and work longer hours will put 5 gears a day in. But they'll work from like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, all the way up until like midnight. They don't get a whole lot of sleep out there. It's nothing else to do but fish, so that's what they do, is just keep on fishing. Fish that we're targeting out there is mainly red grouper. That being between 20 and 40 fathoms of water. You get out deeper, you catch more black grouper and scamps. That'd be from like 40 to 70 fathoms or 80 fathoms, and any deeper than that you start catching yellow edge grouper. And we get a bycatch on our lines. We'll catch some sharks, some dolphin, some kingfish, some wahoo, some snappers, some amberjacks once in a while. When we get back to the dock, we're usually hoping to have a good trip would be 5,000 or 6,000 pounds. The price varies depending on the time of the year and how much fish is on the market. Our prices now are averaging probably between $1.75 and $2.75. In the winter months, when all the tourists are here, that's when the price goes up. The demand is real high. And most all the fish go to local restaurants in the state of Florida.
They get some Spanish mackerel in there. They did. Well, you never know.
1975, I guess you'd say, I pioneered the purse seining in Manatee County. We were looking for something to, mullet weren't selling real well. there's a lot of mullet to be produced, and a lot of people catching them, and had more than really the market could handle. So I wanted to find a little bit of diversity. And traveling around the state as the executive director of OFF, I ran into this man over in Pompano Beach who used a little purse seine with no power, just strictly operated by hand to catch bait with for a market that he had. And I brought it back to Cortez. He was good enough to give me a net. He says, take that back to Cortez and look for sardines, you'll find them. And I came back and I looked for sardines and I found them. And you know, it's silly. I told him he gave me that net. I said, we're not gonna find these sardines over there. I've been over all my life and I've never seen any. He says, you go look, they're there. And you know, I found out that all the time when I would be fishing, I'd be looking towards the beach. And the sardines were offshore about 100 yards. And so I was riding right by them and missing them all the time. And sometimes they are kind of hard to see. Net ban went out, came into effect. There were some 14 boats fishing for sardines at that particular time in Manatee County. We were on a limit, the price was down. We could catch 10,000 or more, and maybe 3 or 4 days you catch 10,000 more. And but it was a great way to fish. It did take the pressure off the mullet, and it provided a bait fish that really was needed. There was a lot of it needed that wasn't available. All that had been produced was produced by Raffield Fisheries in Port St. Joe. And the only way we could break into a market was with better quality. You'll see those fish being taken out of the water and placed right into ice, a slush, stay that way till they get to the fish house, where they are immediately frozen or ground into chum and then frozen. But we provided a superior product for a market that really needed the fish. The purse seine is deployed just like any other net. Has weights on the bottom that make it sink, the floats on the top to keep it afloat, and it goes around them effectively just like a fence. And it's designed so that with a line drawn through rings on the bottom, it purses up. That's where the name purse seine came from. You just, a large weight, 600,000 pound weight, holds that net on the bottom while you draw a line through it and closes the bottom of that net together. And the fish are trapped in the folds of that net. And when you, then you can just roll them down, take the net back, the fish will roll down. They'll all roll down to one end, and then they're secured to the boat and dipped out with a large dip net into that ice and that slush that we were talking about a little while ago. It's a simple operation, and yet it's complicated. Simple if you've been doing it 30 years, I guess. Complicated if you said, take that boat and go catch a load of fish. Got to where we couldn't sell enough fish to keep the operation going, so we just sold the boat.